Hello everyone, I'm David. Today I'm introducing a movie where pirates possess immortality, Pirates of the Caribbean. The story takes place in the 17th century, during the peak of pirate activity in the Caribbean. The male lead is a legendary pirate Jack, and his favorite thing to do is sail the seas aboard the Black Pearl in search of treasure. But soon, an unexpected event occurs. His first mate, Barbossa, starts a mutiny. He seizes control of the Black Pearl and leaves Jack stranded on a deserted island to die. Fortunately, the main character has some skills of his own and manages to survive by sheer luck. This mutiny also caused a young boy named Turner to become a victim, as he was abandoned at sea. Fortunately, the Royal Navy passed by and rescued young Turner. The female lead Elizabeth was also on the ship at the time. She's the daughter of the governor and has a natural fascination with pirates, so she immediately recognized Turner's pirate identity from the coin he was wearing. To protect Turner, she secretly hid the coin. And so, our story begins. 8 years later, Elizabeth has grown up and reached marrying age. Her father hopes she can marry a Navy admiral and find a good future. But Elizabeth has liked Turner since they were young. The two grew up together like childhood sweethearts. One day, the down-and-out male lead Jack happens to be resting at the royal port when he ends up saving Elizabeth's life. However, the admiral repays kindness with hostility, using Jack's identity as a pirate as an excuse to arrest him. As for Jack, he had anticipated this, so he immediately tried to escape and, by chance, ended up barging into Turner's home. What a coincidence! But Turner, being a man of justice, wasn't about to let a pirate go free, so the two got into a fight. In the end, Jack was still captured and thrown into prison. But that very night, something unexpected happened. Barbossa, Jack's former first mate, suddenly attacked the royal port. He was after the coin Elizabeth had. Since the Navy was unprepared, they were caught completely off guard. Elizabeth was quickly captured and taken aboard the ship. So, what exactly did Barbossa want with the coin? It turns out that the coin is cursed. 8 years ago, after betraying Jack, they successfully found the treasure, a total of 882 coins. The pirates quickly spent it all, but unfortunately, that's when disaster struck. They soon discovered they were cursed and became immortal. Although that might sound like a good thing, in reality, the pirates lost all sensation. Nothing they ate had any taste, they were like walking corpses. And at night, they would turn into skeletons. It was truly a miserable fate. Over time, Barbossa began to regret it all. But to lift the curse, they had to return every single coin and perform a blood sacrifice using Turner's blood. Why Turner? It turns out that Turner's father was also one of the pirates who took the treasure. Later, because he remained loyal to Jack, Barbossa had him killed. Without the blood of Turner, his closest kin, the curse could never be broken. Since Elizabeth had the coin with her, Barbossa naturally mistook her for Turner. Meanwhile, the real Turner was extremely anxious. In order to rescue Elizabeth, he had no choice but to seek help from Jack, the only person who knew the whereabouts of the Black Pearl. There was no time to waste. The two of them quickly escaped from prison and gathered a crew to set sail in pursuit. By this time, Barbossa had already returned to the location where the treasure was buried, inside a cave. In addition to the 882 coins, the cave was also filled with countless gold and jewels they had plundered over the past 8 years, just waiting for the curse to be lifted so they could finally enjoy it. Excited, Barbossa cut Elizabeth's palm and began the ritual. It turned out the sacrifice didn't require killing, just a bit of blood. Elizabeth had a narrow escape. But after the ritual was completed, the pirates still didn't return to their mortal forms. Only then did Barbossa realize he had captured the wrong person, but it was already too late. By then, Turner had already rescued Elizabeth. As for Jack, he wasn't so lucky, he was captured by the pirates once again. In order to stay alive, he had no choice but to lead the pirates in a sneak attack on Turner's ship. This time, Barbossa finally captured the real Turner. Since Jack and Elizabeth were no longer of any use, Barbossa abandoned them on another deserted island. Fortunately, Elizabeth was clever. She lit a huge fire on the island, which attracted the Royal Navy and led to their rescue. In order to save Turner, Elizabeth promised that she would agree to marry the admiral once the mission was complete. The admiral was delighted and immediately launched an attack on the pirates. Barbossa, in response, sent his skeleton crew to fight the navy. Thanks to their immortality, the Royal Navy was completely overwhelmed. Meanwhile, Jack had secretly snuck into the cave, engaging Barbossa in a standoff. He even managed to secretly take one of the coins, making himself immortal as well. With his newfound immortality, Jack suddenly became confident and began an intense battle with Barbossa. The two fought fiercely, but since neither could be killed, the fight reached a stalemate, and it couldn't go on like that. So, Jack tossed the coin to Turner and told him to use his blood along with the 2 coins to complete the ritual. At that very moment, the curse was lifted. Jack immediately pulled the trigger and killed Barbossa. Meanwhile, the rest of the pirates outside also turned back into ordinary humans, becoming easy to defeat, and the admiral quickly won the battle. However, Jack still wasn't so lucky. Even though he helped defeat the pirates, the admiral had him arrested and sentenced to be hanged. On the day of the execution, Turner carried out a jailbreak and rescued Jack. The two fought against the soldiers, but in the end, they were outnumbered and surrounded by the admiral. In a critical moment, Elizabeth stood by Jack's side and declared that she loved Turner. This deeply saddened the admiral, but it was clear that Elizabeth and Turner were truly in love. So, the admiral allowed them to be together. Taking advantage of the moment, Jack slipped away to the sea, setting sail aboard the Black Pearl once again. It's clear that the story is far from over, because the sea holds many more treasures, and the sea is the true home for Jack, a born adventurer.